from New York City. I'm Nadia, and for this edition of The Rundown, I decided instead of taking you to some location based on a movie or art or doing an interview with somebody else, that I would make this rundown about me. No, seriously, because I'm running the New York City Marathon this weekend for the second time, and the first time I did, I was still pretty new to the city, so I wanted to show you a bit more about my love of running, why I run and how I got into it, and so I'm going to take you to some of the places that mean a lot to me here in New York City, starting off here by this Starbucks on 59th Street, which is next to the Thompson Hotel. It was where I spent the first night when I moved here with my life squashed into 2 bags, and the morning after I came and got my first cup of coffee, and of course they write your name on it and they make you feel so cool when they mispronounce it. But it was just an amazing experience. The possibilities of this new life and new adventure definitely felt that walking out of the Starbucks. So let's go. New York on the hope and a dream that I would be able to interview Meryl Streep over lunch one day in the West Village. It didn't really happen, or hasn't happened yet, although I have given her a brownie for afternoon tea. But I wanted to be able to interview my favorite actors, be able to go see shows on Broadway often, go to the museums that I'd seen here, just experience what it would be like to live and work in New York City. But I never was a runner. New York brings out the best in you, but it also brings out, not the worst, but it amplifies everything. So your dreams are amplified, your goals, your wishes, your hopes, your desires, everything. You come to New York to realize all of those things, but then it also amplifies everything else along with it. Your fears, your insecurities, and a lot of that, especially if you don't have a normal 9-to-5 job, can be exacerbated. I guess even if you do have a 9-to-5 job, and that's where running has been this kind of saving grace, you know? It's been that thing that no matter what was going on, I know or knew, there goes New York City Marathon bus, I knew that I could rely on it. It would be the one thing that was the one constant. Get out there, go for a run, put one foot in front of the other. It's also done a lot for me in terms of my work life. I, over the years, use running now to think up of ideas for questions whenever I'm doing movie junkets or movie interviews, and I do a lot of them at hotels like the Waldorf Astoria. The Waldorf Astoria stands out for me always every time I run past it or walk past it, because of an interview I got to do with Oprah Winfrey when she was promoting The Butler. And it's a highlight for me of my time here in New York, because it was one of the very few moments where I actually felt like I got this, you know, where I felt like I did an interview with her and I only had a short time, but I heard her utter the phrase that every journalist would like to hear. That's an excellent question. So I felt like I was on the right path. So it's always a good moment to be reminded of that in a city where you're always on the go, hustling for the next thing, facing a lot of no's. It's always good to remind yourself of the yeses that you do get. When I first started training for my first marathon in 2012, which was meant to be New York City but didn't happen because of Sandy, and then I did Philadelphia, I trained on my own. I did all my long runs by myself. I never ran with any groups. And then I took a seaplane from this little ferry port area thanks to Nike. And I'm not sponsored by Nike. This is not endorsed by them. But I will forever be grateful for their Montauk project that I went on in August of 2013. It changed everything for me, because up until then, running was just this thing that I was doing to, you know, keep me going. And the first marathon I ever did was just to finish. I didn't care about time or anything like that, which I think is a great way to approach your first marathon. But Montauk Project showed me that I was capable of so much more. Me, someone who'd never enjoyed running, was never good at running. I got to run on a track for the first time. I pushed my pace for the first time on a long run. So I'll always remember taking this seaplane. And I just really have appreciated running with other people, because, we can go now, because it shows you that there is There is so much more that you can gain from pushing yourself when you run with others. Being able to tap into it, no matter where you are in the world, man, that's a powerful thing, and it's pushed me to be a better runner, but also a better person. I mean, it's why I ran Boston, or why I want to run Boston, why I wanted to qualify for Boston. It's not about this running this marathon or the marathon of marathons. It's about what it represents, and to me, it represents reaching something that you never ever thought you could reach. And especially now, as I'm trying to figure out my path as a journalist in a world where journalism is changing so rapidly and everybody's lives are changing so rapidly thanks to technology, just that reminder that you can do anything you set your mind to, even if it does seem impossible. Man, that's valuable, and I needed that more than I needed the actual time goal and qualification itself. Two guesses as to why this is one of my favorite places. They spell the surname differently, but it's still my surname, so sometimes I'll just go in there and order anything just so I can have a cup with Neophytu written on it. Side note, I'm really gonna miss seeing my friend John. His face has been all over New York City as part of the marathon campaign. I'm gonna miss seeing him around. Well, actually I'll just get to see him in person. The final stop has to be here. The finish line of the New York City Marathon. The bleachers don't have to always be up, the flags don't always have to be up, none of the markers have to be up for me to run this route, or this road during a normal time of the year, and just to have all those emotions and those feelings. Jessie J coming back up. I watched as the South African photojournalist João Silva, he crossed that finish line a year after he lost both of his legs. He stepped on a landmine in Afghanistan, he lost both of his legs, and as part of his recovery he went to Walter Reed and he said that he was going to do the marathon for the wounded warriors, and he did it. And I was so inspired when I saw him come through, and I interviewed him afterwards, and I thought, if he can do it for charity, maybe one day I can do it as well. I mean, it seemed like the furthest thing from my mind, and 2 months later I signed up to run it for All for Africa. Didn't run it for All for Africa because of Sandy, but then the following year ran for Team for Kids, crossed that finish line. It was just amazing. And so this coming Sunday I'm gonna run it with a different kind of feeling. I'm not running it for any other reason other than just to have a good time, to say thank you to New York for having my back. The city will test you, it will try you, but it will also support you in ways that you actually don't even know are possible. So New York, Sunday, this runs for you.